Hello, and welcome to this brief overview video of the Aveva License Manager that happens to be running on version 2020. So first we're going to go to the Start menu and we're going to locate the Aveva folder. And is maybe different depending on your operating system. In this case I'm running Windows Server 2016. I'll locate the Aveva folder and I'm going to locate the the Enterprise License Manager. I will go ahead and select it, and that will bring up Internet Explorer and the default interface. Here you see the one license server that I have installed in the network, and you also see that I have the ability to add another license server. In this case, I can add a backup license server if necessary. The only caveat is it needs to be already installed on the network, and I simply add it to this particular license manager so I can manage both license servers in one location. We also see to the right that I'm logged in as www.admin, and I am in online activation mode. Now, speaking of the activation mode, if we click over here on the servers menu option here, we can go down to activation settings. By selecting activation settings, it brings up the two activation modes. One is online activation and one is offline activation. Offline activation is for when the system is not connected to the internet, and so it cannot communicate with the activation server in the cloud, and you have to go through another procedure to do the license activation. For this demonstration, we will stick with the online activation mode. We'll click on the menu and head back to servers. We will connect to our license server, and it brings up the additional user interface to manage that particular license server. On the top here, you see we have various menu options. One of those, and there is remove, refresh, manage, and sync. Now, with remove, it's pretty obvious. You can remove the license server. Refresh is you can refresh the contents of the screen, and when you click on manage, you can manage that particular license server. You can establish a redundant license server by enabling backup here, and we do advise you to do so. That is just a matter of best practice. If you've added that additional license server, okay, to this particular interface, this license manager, it will appear in the drop-down list. You also get the ability to do redundancy repair if there's an issue, and perform maintenance on the server, meaning you can stop and restart the license server. If you have a subscription-based license and it goes into grace period, you can also manage that with this grace period option here, and this also gives you the ability under devices, give you the ability to manage individual devices that are associated with the license server. Now, the sync button allows your license server to synchronize with the license activation server in the cloud. Now, coming on down to the options in the main interface, you have license summary. Under license summary, if we select the individual license in the listing, we get the option to add a new license, deactivate this particular current license, or view the license details. Now, under here you can see obviously the quantity, the component name, the part number, serial number, expiration date, and its current status. To add a license, just simply click here and it will allow you to browse your individual license. Once you've browsed your license, you simply select it, and at the bottom right, this button, this activate button, which is grayed out now, will become active, and it will allow you to activate that particular license. Now, if we head over to usage summary, this is a summary listing of all of the features that are associated with your particular licenses. You have the actual feature name, the part number, the license type, whether it's a server-based license or a client license, the version of the license, the quantity that you are authorized to have, whether or not that particular license feature has been reserved, and whether or not it is in use. Now, if you look closely at my taskbar here, you can see that I have InTouch Window Viewer running, and I have InTouch Window Maker running. One is the HMI runtime, and one is the development environment. So if we come on down here, you can see the InTouch Workstation 60K. You'll note that I have 300, okay, total that I can utilize, and there is one in use. If I come on down to the development license here, I have 30 quantity that I could utilize, and I have one in use. Now, if we move over to usage details, this is where you see all of the licenses that are being utilized on your system. In this case, I'm utilizing the InTouch development runtime, development 60K tags, InTouch development, my tag count for that particular license, and also the workstation license and the tag count. And you can see that it is being utilized with this particular device. Now, this is important when we move to device registration. I'm just simply going to copy the name, and I'm going to move over to device registration. This particular option gives me the ability to associate a particular feature with a particular device. Let's say, for instance, I want to associate some feature with this particular device. So if I scroll on down and say, well, I want this particular device to always have a development license. If I've got 30, one of those will be going to my device, which is I've designated as my development node. So I put my development my device, which is my node, and I've selected my particular feature that I want associated with that device. I select the add button, and I see it in the listing. Now notice that it is in bold. That means it has not been applied yet. So this is my device. This is the quantity that I want of the 30. I'm going to give one to this particular device. This is the actual feature, its part number, the version, the expiration date if it is a subscription-based license. And once I verify this is what I want, I'm going to select apply. Now, once I select apply, notice it's no longer bold. Okay, and so at this point, I can say I can verify that I know that at least out of the 30 licenses, one of those licenses will always be dedicated to this particular system. Once I highlight this, I get the opportunity to do some various other things like export this information, import it in, or clear it. Now, also, I can check this license out. Okay, once I check it out, let's say for instance I need another system to do whatever, and I can check this license out, and I can check it back in. Now, I can also, by clicking on user reservation, I also have the ability to reserve a license for individual users. By just simply click on the add user, I type in the user that I want to, let's say I'm going to use user 1. That is a user that is on my system. So for user 1, these are the licenses that I have available. Okay, these are the licenses I have available so that I can specify what users I want to utilize with what licenses. Let's say for instance I will choose InTouch Web Client or InTouch HMI and the InTouch HMI Client Tag Server, read only. Let's see here, I'll even do another InTouch. So I just click on the add button. So each one of these features are now associated with this particular user. I click on the apply, and just like with the device reservation, I now have these features are associated with this particular user. Now if I head on back to the usage summary, I can come on down and I can, let's say for instance, let's take a look at the InTouch development license. I come over here, it is reserved. Okay, and it is, remember I reserved it with my InTouch node, and it is in use. Okay, it is reserved and it is in use. Now, we come on back to the license details again. I just wanted to highlight a couple of things. By clicking on the details here, what will happen is once this thing finishes populating, it'll show up here in this listing. Now, once it populates, you'll see some details about your license here. You see the company name, site ID, and so forth. This information is pretty important when you need to contact our client services department, and you get information about your licenses, subscription information, and so forth. And it gives you in detail a little bit more, just a brief glance at what features you have and what quantities and versions and so forth like that. So this deals with the license details. So that concludes our brief overview of the Aveva License Server and License Manager. Thanks for watching.